Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the...
Hey guys, today I'm doing just a little bit of meal prepping. Now, I meal prep for my husband, my son, and for myself also. I like to do a large batch at a time so I can do like 5 days worth of food, and I'll individually package them in containers. So right now I'm going to cook some chicken breasts, some chicken thighs, and rice and potatoes, which is not that difficult at all. I can usually meal prep the 5 days in like 2 hours with putting it on the containers and cleaning up. And I also usually do some steak, but I haven't gone to the store yet. I'll have to do that later today. But right now I'm just going to show you kind of how I do the chicken, because I cook it indoors. I don't go out on the grill. My husband doesn't really like it on the grill because it gets too dry or whatever. So if you're going to eat it fresh, it's great right off the grill, but sometimes it's easier just to bake it in a batch, which is, it's just simpler for me. Now, the problem for me is that my oven is not working right now. The electricity went out, and our fancy schmancy digital touchscreen, it won't come on. So I have a countertop, just an Oster little, I'll show you real quick. It's this little handy dandy thing right here, which works great. I mean, it can air fry, oh boy. It can air fry, it can do baking, it can do all kinds of things. So I have been working with that little thing for months because getting parts on the fancy oven takes a while. Hoping maybe by Thanksgiving I can cook something like a large ham in the oven. I don't know, but I'm just going to show you kind of how I do the chicken. I'm going to preheat the little oven real quick. I set it has a little pan that comes in, and I just preheat it for baking at 425. And then when I put my chicken breast on it, it takes about 36 or 37 minutes to be done. And then I have the air fryer that I'm going to put the chicken thighs in. And if you haven't air fried chicken thighs, I highly recommend it. It's a good source of a lot of protein, and it comes out kind of like fried chicken, but it's not fried chicken. It's boneless, skinless. Now, I'll show you that real quick because that takes the longest. It takes probably about 40 minutes almost to air fry a large batch. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I just buy, you can buy your chicken thigh wherever you want to buy your chicken thigh. I buy mine from Costco just because it's a large quantity. And I'll just put it in the sink and open it. What I like about the Costco ones, which I'm sure other things have it, but it comes in, it comes in a package that you could tear apart, or you could just get one section. So I usually put 2 sections in the air fryer at a time because there's quite a bit of chicken. And the thing about the air fryer is that, sorry, I'm going to move this. The thing about the air fryer is that you do have to, about 15 minutes in, you kind of have to flip them, to rotate them a little bit to really. So I have an air fryer, which is a funny story. I worked at my other job 20 years and got points enough to earn an air fryer. So you too can dedicate yourself for 20 years and get an air fryer. Apparently, maybe the prices have gone up. I don't know, but I was excited because my other air fryer had just broken. I was like, okay, I guess I will get that now with those points. So you don't gross out, but I'm gonna like reach in with my hands and pull it out and I already washed my hands, but it's really gross, but it's the easiest way. And I'll show you after I wash my hands what it looks like when I layer them. I just layer on the bottom. And surprisingly, it's not that hard to clean the air fryer. I thought it would be really difficult the first time. I thought, oh Lord, this is a mess, because the chicken fat like all goes down in the bottom when you're air frying it. It kind of collects in the bottom, really thick and disgusting. there's just quite a bit of chicken thigh. But my boys eat a lot of chicken thigh. Like when I measure out 7 ounces, 6 ounces, it's quite a bit of meat. I don't eat that much at a time. I'll eat like 4 ounces, maybe 6 ounces, depending on my macros. I'm gonna wash my hands really good. Because it's really gross. Okay. So I'll show you what it looks like inside. Just kind of looks like a whole bunch of, looks like a bunch of chicken thighs in there. Then I season it. The key to the air frying to get it like fried chicken is to put a heavy coat of seasoning, because it kind of like makes a crispiness on the outside like fried chicken where there's no skin. I just throw random seasonings, but I did find this one that's called Total Seasonings. I feel like that works good. And I just put a whole lot on there. This one doesn't have any sugar or anything in it, which is the one thing I always look for. I want to make sure it doesn't have a lot of added sugar, because a lot of spices do, unfortunately. And then I throw garlic salt on just for fun. Then you stick it in there and turn it on. And I cook it at 400. And I usually set it for 40 minutes. So that will run, and while that's started, I can put my other chicken on a pan and my rice in the rice cooker and some potatoes. I microwave my potatoes because I'm all for easy. I'll put the potatoes in the microwave and kind of have it all going at the same time. And usually while my chicken's in the oven, that's when I'll do my steak on the stovetop. But I'm having to batch things differently today just because I have a busy schedule and I don't have the steak yet. I've got to go to the store, which Costco doesn't open until 10, which is very unfortunate. That's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna start the grilled chicken or the oven baked chicken. And the same thing with the little comes. I usually 3 of these little thingies make 1 pan, and so I can bake that all at once. Makes it easier. You can also, now this is good too, you can also air fry chicken breast nuggets. You just gotta cut it up in pieces and then you just coat it really good with whatever seasoning you want. And that's delightful. It's not as good microwaved later, but still good. And that's a powerful protein punch in your macros if you need a lot of protein like I do. So I'm just gonna throw them on the pan. It's really gross. I could use a fork, I know it, but I'm already in too deep to turn back. My husband's the big chicken breast eater. My son is tired of it, so he's taking a break from chicken breast. And if you've ever had that issue, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you just get tired of the same thing over and over, so you have to vary it. That's why I think air frying with chicken breast is a great alternative. But with chicken breast, I feel like you could do like a million things with it. You can shred it, you can barbecue it, you can do all kinds of things. Different seasonings make it a whole new meal. So I'll use the same seasoning. Well, actually, I got another seasoning. My husband kind of likes the lemon pepper thing. So I got this other one that says garlic and herb with sea salt and lemon. I think that he's gonna like that a lot. And I'll just put a lot on. He's the one that likes the lemon, and he used to make all the chicken with lemon, which is why my son got burnt out on it, because he doesn't really like the lemon. It's a personal problem for him. Okay, and I'm just going to throw it in the little Oster oven real quick. Then I just set it for like 37 minutes, and that always comes out just right. And I just remembered I'm going to do some ground turkey on the stovetop also. That is really easy. It takes very minimal effort on my part, which is great. I'm going to start the rice first though. So I just use an Instapot that does everything under the sun also. Although I don't know how to do all of those everythings under the sun because I haven't branched out that much with the Instapot. Now, I have a really good friend, if you guys need Instapot lessons or classes, she's a health coach and she does all things Instapot, holds private classes, teaches, and she's got so many tips and tricks. So if you want that information, message me for sure. She's glad to share everything she knows. She's very passionate about it. And I haven't taken one of the classes. I clearly need to because I'm limited to just veggies and rice. So it's way more high tech than just a rice cooker would be. So I'm going to put, I think I'm going to do 5. I always overcook and then I can't remember. I think I'm going to start with 4 cups of rice. I usually put 4 cups of rice and then 5 cups of water. That seems to be my magical thing. I always put like 1 extra cup of water to however much I'm doing. And this is jasmine brown rice. So it's a good rice for your carb source. Almost the whole, I'm just going to throw the whole bag in there. This bag, I think maybe it is 5 cups. Okay. So I just put the whole bag in there. That's easy if it all works out perfectly. I'll put 5 cups of water in still and see how that goes. Then with the Instapot, I just have to push the rice button, so that's easy for me. I need simple. I also need to be able to talk and count cups at the same time. Okay, we'll call that good. The key to making, if you're not a fan of brown rice, I'm not a real big rice fan in general, but if you're not a fan of like brown rice, the key is to season it a lot. So I put a lot of different things in. I put garlic salt, I'll put cumin in there, and you'll love how I measure too. And I also have this blend which says salt, pepper, garlic. If you guys have ever tried this, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'll grab my others. Okay, I don't measure anything, I just throw stuff in. I feel like you can't go wrong with rice especially. So this is garlic powder, and I just made my own little jar, and I get the Natural Grocers bulk of it, and I just put a whole lot of the powder in. So the garlic's pretty tasty. And I have some minced onion. As long as you don't have allergies to onions, you're good. And I put a lot of cumin. It gives it kind of a Mexican vibe. I don't get a lot of complaints from my boys. They're just happy I cook. Okay, then I actually stir it. I just grab a little, whatever these are called, and stir it around so that it's not just all the spices on top. It still collects spices on top when it's done, which I think makes it kind of tasty. So I'll stir it around. Then I'll stick it in the Instapot, and I will just push the magical rice button and walk away. Next I'm going to get the turkey. I have ground turkey, and I'll cook that on the stovetop, so I'll move this. And there's my stovetop. My stovetop still works, thank goodness, just the oven part is on the fritz. And it's just that it's gas stovetop, so thank goodness it still works. Okay. I'm always paranoid that my stuff is expired. Try to pay attention when I'm buying it. Just turn that on, and I'm gonna do the same kind of seasoning with this. Just throw stuff in there, makes it good. You just don't have to be an expert chef by any means. People think, oh, meal prepping's so hard. It's really not that difficult. You just decide what you're going to cook. You get it all out, just start cooking. I'm not saying I don't have a method to my madness, but it's not that ingenious. I'm just going to throw this whole thing on there. Eat. So I just throw the whole thing in there, which that one that I got was, I think it was a 93% lean, which is, it's pretty good. And it's a couple pounds. It's 3 pounds worth. So that will work good. I love ground turkey. It's really easy to get some good protein in that way. Also, I'll do like 4 ounces or 6 ounces kind of in there, depending on what I need for the day to fill my numbers. And it's just easy. You can make tacos out of it if you have like a tortilla of some sort, which is a whole different recipe on baking your own tortillas. I just sometimes will put salsa on it and just eat it. It's so good. Or I can just eat it plain because I spice it up really good with all the stuff. And yeah, I just throw stuff in. So I think I'm going to throw the same things in that I threw. I'll open up. It takes quite a bit. I don't know what all this, it just tastes really good. And then some garlic powder, which I've got to get some more at the store. I'm going to add it to my list. A little bit of cumin. I don't always put cumin in it, but I'm feeling it today. My husband doesn't eat ground turkey. I don't know why. I told him he's missing out, but he likes to stick to what he sticks to. So I will just kind of break it up. I mean, you guys know how to ground meat, like cook ground meats. It's not rocket science. But I can just leave it on there and turn it every once in a while and chop it up as I go. Very simple. I'm going to throw some potatoes in the microwave. I measure the potatoes after they're cooked. You can do it either way. I am not arguing one way or the other. I just do it after it's cooked because that is pretty simple for me. I'm pretty good at estimating how much is 100 grams in a potato when it's cooked. So I just throw some in there and go with that. Now I'm going to stop the video because I feel like that gives you enough, and I will show you later maybe the steak portion, and then I'll show you the actual packaging it up and measuring it out, which is very simple. You just go with however many ounces you need, line up all your things with your scale, and divvy it in there. It's very simple. Okay, I will be back later to show you those two things. Okay, it's about probably about 17 minutes in. I'm going to show you what the fried chicken looks like, the air fried chicken, and then I'm going to turn it and re-season it. So you can see it's looking crispy chicken. You can hear all the fat and stuff goes down to the bottom. So I'm just going to take a fork and rotate it, get the ones from the bottom on top. There's kind of an art to it, because they're very raw on the bottom. The top is what gets started. So you got to kind of turn them over. Ah. It doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'll probably toss it around again, but I will re-season it with a lot of, oh, that's the wrong one, that's garlic salt, that'll be good. With the total seasoning, just really coat it really good. And then I'll put it back in. And so that's the thing about the air fryer. Depending on your air fryer, you do have to kind of open it, check it, turn things to get it just right, because it's easy. There's a fine line. You can go to too fried and too crispy, but we're not going to do that today at all. Now my ground turkey is still going. Turn my little camera and you can kind of see it. I'm just, oopsie. Just turning it as we go. You can see it's cooking nicely. Just takes a little while. If it gets too dried out, depending on how much fat is in your turkey, sometimes you have to add a little bit of water to the pan to keep it from sticking, but this one seems to be just the right amount. Okay, and you can also see that the chicken in the oven is going well, baking nicely. There, and we'll be back later to show you more. Okay, it's about probably about 17 minutes in. I'm going to show you what the fried chicken looks like, the air fried chicken, and then I'm going to turn it and re-season it. So you can see it's looking crispy chicken. You can hear all the fat and stuff goes down to the bottom. So I'm just going to take a fork and rotate it, get the ones from the bottom on top. There's kind of an art to it, because they're very raw on the bottom. The top is what gets started. So you got to kind of turn them over. Ah. It doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'll probably toss it around again, but I will re-season it with a lot of, oh, that's the wrong one, that's garlic salt, that'll be good. With the total seasoning, just really coat it really good. And then I'll put it back in. And so that's the thing about the air fryer. Depending on your air fryer, you do have to kind of open it, check it, turn things to get it just right, because it's easy. There's a fine line. You can go to too fried and too crispy, but we're not going to do that today at all. Now my ground turkey is still going. Turn my little camera and you can kind of see it. I'm just, oopsie. Just turning it as we go. You can see it's cooking nicely. Just takes a little while. If it gets too dried out, depending on how much fat is in your turkey, sometimes you have to add a little bit of water to the pan to keep it from sticking, but this one seems to be just the right amount. Okay, and you can also see that the chicken in the oven is going well. Baking nicely. There, and we'll be back later to show you more. Okay, my ground turkey is done. I have turned off the heat. I'm going to just put it in a container, and I'll divvy it out later because I have an appointment to go to. So I'm going to get all my meat cooked, put it in containers, and later I can just line up my meal prep dishes and just measure out. It will be very quick doing it that way. But I'm going to just put this all in this plastic container for now, just to keep it all safe. So when you have a busy day, sometimes it's just about getting a little bit done at a time and just working it in. It doesn't have to take, you don't have to consume 2 hours all at once. You can split it up very easily. And sometimes that makes it a little less stressful, honestly, to break it into pieces between appointments or whatever you have going on in your real life. Because cooking is not my real life job. It's just a part-time gig for me. So I can do that, and then I can throw the pan in some water and let it soak a few minutes, and it comes clean really easily. When you clean it immediately, it comes off fast. I will leave it at that. Because if you let it sit forever, then you're scrubbing way too much. It smells delightful. So I'll just put it, I have it all done in here. It's about 3 pounds. And I'll set that aside for later. And I'll throw the pan in the refrigerator. In the refrigerator. I'm gonna throw the pan in the sink with some dish soap and let it soak for about 5 minutes, and I'll clean it up and dry it off and throw it back in the pantry. No trouble at all. What do they say? No muss, no fuss. I think that's what they say. Okay, now it's time to check on the air fried chicken. I think we're about 28 minutes in. So I'll look at it, and you can see it looks really crispy fried chicken. I think a lot of it's done. Sometimes the top layer is done and you have to rotate the bottom again, so we're going to take a look. Let's see. Yeah, see, that is some good fried chicken right there. Yeah, I think most of it's done. Maybe I just make sure they're crispy on each side, like with seasoning. So some of these need a little bit more. Ones that were on the bottom, might flip them and leave them just like maybe only a few minutes more. I think they're almost all crispy, and I'll add some more seasoning just to, or just a light amount. Then I'll stick it in for maybe 3 or 4 minutes. We'll see. And it automatically restarts when you put it back, which I love. Okay, I think the air fried chicken is about done. It's been about 32 minutes, and I believe it's all done. It looks great. So you can see it's crispy on each side with the seasoning. Yeah, it looks good. I'm gonna put it in this container because I'll cut it up and divvy it out into little weighed out portions later after I get back from hot yoga. And I will have to do a second batch. I always do 2 large batches to make the 5 days worth for the boys, and I get a few servings for myself in there. But yeah, it takes 2 batches because it's so much. It's like, it doesn't weigh that much, so when you're measuring out ounces, it's a lot of meat and not. So I have a giant container. I'm gonna put the chicken breast out of the oven in a few minutes in here, and then I'll put a lid on it, and I will come later and cook the rest of the chicken thigh. The good thing about the chicken thigh is I know it's gonna be a solid like 32 minutes, so I will set it. I'll set a timer on my phone I'll go do some other things that I need to get done and come flip it at that time and then set another timer and come back, so I'm not like standing in front of it staring at it the whole time. So yeah, that works, just to be able to actually get other things done while I'm cooking the things like the chicken that take the 30 something minutes. It's a lot of time. I'm not going to stand in the kitchen unless I'm already cooking, like cutting up other things, but I'm not today. And the rice is done, hopefully. I'm going to see. I already let the steam out of the air fryer, out of the Instapot. Take the lid off. Oh, it's good. Yeah, it looks nice and tasty. So I will leave that and I'll divvy that out later also. So I've got pretty much everything done. That chicken is almost done out of the oven. I guess I could take it out and check it. Me and my fancy tripod. Yeah, it really looks done. You have to be careful with this Oster oven thing because the things come out, and one of them went back on my arm and burned me one day so bad I thought I was going to cry. I may have cried a little bit, possibly. So I'm going to just cut it open and see if it looks done. And I have this fancy dancy serrated Pampered Chef knife, which works so great cutting meats. Let me see. Let me get my fork. So you can kind of see the chicken there, maybe sort of. So let's cut it open in the middle of the fattest piece, and I can tell. You know what? I think it does need the last few minutes. Yeah, I'll put it back in the last few minutes. And Martha Pearl's always here when I'm cooking chicken. She's always ready. Yeah, it's not ready to cut up. She waits under the She waits like right under the cutting board, just in case something drops. I'll go ahead and start that back. Martha, you want to say hi? You want to say hi, Marty? Say hi, Martha Pearl. Hey, Martha. Say hi. Say it's almost chicken time. If you could see her, but she is looking frazzled. Yeah? Now sit. Hey, Martha, sit. Oh, so good, sit. Such a good girl. You're down? Oh, you're a good dog. Yes, you are. You're a good dog. Yes. She's always got to steal the show somehow. All right, so we're going to leave the chicken breast in for a few more minutes. Okay, the chicken is done baking. I'll cut it again to check, but it's at the normal time that I always do it, so I tried to take it out too early last time. So I've turned that off. And I'm going to cut it one more piece open just to make sure. And yes, perfect. And I'm just going to put it in the container with the other chicken so I can go to my class. And then I'll come back and air fry more chicken and divvy things out into individual containers. So, alright, and then I will throw this in the sink in soapy water so it will really quickly not cake on. I'll leave my knife and my fork out for when I get back. I usually like to clean the kitchen as I go, or else it's just overwhelming. So now I have, you can see I have the chicken breast and the chicken thigh all in this container. And I'll just leave it out. I don't have to put it in the fridge. I'll leave it out. I'm just going to a quick class and it's so hot. Then it'll be easy to cut up when I get back. All right, I will see you when I get back and we will finish up all of our meal prepping for the day. Now it's the point where I'm going to actually take the chicken and cut it up and measure it and put it in containers. My boys just kind of give me a list of how much they need of the weight of each thing in each container. And my husband, I'm going to do the chicken breast, he does 6 ounces once a day and 5 ounces on another meal. So I'm just going to fill those real quick. I'll take it out. I just have my cutting board right here. I just have a food prepping station, and I'll just chop it up. See, it's really got a lot of spices on it. It should be pretty tasty. And I'll zero the scale out, make sure I have it on ounces, which it's on grams. This one has fluid ounces and ounces, so make sure I get the right one. What difference is it? I really don't know. Haven't tested that one yet. Then I'll take and I use these little things to help put it in the container. So I've got it zeroed out, trying to get it to 5 ounces. Exact, because I don't want to mess anybody's meal up. So sometimes I gotta cut a little piece. And that's a perfect 5 ounce. And I'll do all the 5s at once and then all the 6s so that I don't get them mixed up. Usually easier to just like cut all the meat and then put it in containers. That's probably what I'll do with the rest of it. That's my other air fried chicken finishing. I could hear the beeping. It's all done. I usually have at least one dog down at my feet just in case something drops, and that would be Martha Pearl today. All right. Try to cut a bunch of different size little pieces because I know it's easier to put small ones in when I'm getting close to the numbers. I already have some small ones cut. Guys have a favorite spice that you just love, let me know what it is, because I'm always into trying new things. 5-ounce one's done and I'm doing the 6-ounce, so I'll set them aside and I'll put different color lids on them, and then I actually mark them with a piece of paint tape and marker. Okay, then I'm going to cut up the chicken thigh and put it in containers after I put lids on these. Okay, now when I'm done putting them in the containers, I use this painter's tape because it comes on and off so easily, and I just toss it when I'm done with it. After they eat their meal, they toss it in the trash before they put the dishes in the dishwasher. So I just peel it off, I'll put a piece on, and then I write with my Sharpie marker, so it'll be like 5 ounces of chicken, May 16th. That way they can eat the old ones first, and I kind of arrange them in the refrigerator so that they're in order, so we don't eat our new meals before our other meals. They usually have like a day or two left over. It depends on the rotation. I don't wait till everybody's out of food, and the way I work and get things done, it's kind of like every 4 or 5 days I'm working on the next group of prep, and that is really how you do it. It's very simple. You just get everything out in your kitchen, organized for workstations, for cooking different things, and then for cutting up and prepping, putting them in containers, and then for marking it at the end, and then you just put it in the fridge, and that way they can just grab and go. They'll grab all their meals for the whole day if they're going to be out and about during the day, and it works just really well for everyone involved. And thank you for watching my video, and if you have any questions, give me a little shout out and a comment, and I am open to answering questions for you. Thank you. Bye.
Got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna erase them? Face it, I don't give up.